Hello, Cosplay World. We're back with a new armor set. This is going to be a 4-part series, half of which are going to be available on YouTube, and the entire series is going to be available to our wonderful supporters at finalcosplaycore.com. Check it out if you're interested in tons of extra content, tutorials, walkthroughs, and all your cosplay needs. We have a 4-part series. We're going to do the helmet now, then we're going to do the crest, and then sword, followed by the plate armor in the last video. So with this, we have a piece of plastic. This is ABS. This is a half sphere. I simply bought the sphere because I'm going to be working with PVC foam sheeting, and that doesn't take as easily to full spheres. It's a real pain in the butt to kind of get those nice even curves, so I spent like $3 on a half sphere and said, I'm good. So it also fits the design. It was simple enough. The details and embellishments are going to be made with PVC foam sheeting, and if you've watched my videos, you know I love working with the plastics. PVC foam sheeting is a rigid plastic which lets it really emulate a lot of properties that armor has, the metallic and heavy armor. So we're absolutely going to be using this in this plate armor set. We have the bill, we have some side pieces, there's a front and back panel, and then we have the crest. There's going to be a feather layer, but we just bought the feather. It's a pheasant feather. It's simple enough. So we're going to be cutting out the pieces here, you see, with a hot knife, and we're going to be shaping the pieces with a heat gun. Everything has been drafted off camera because not everybody necessarily wants to watch me draft. If you do, let me know. I'll put up some videos on drafting specifically. It's kind of something I learned at being trained as a draftsman. Yeah, I do. I have a lot of CAD and architecture and engineering bullshit in the background. But this heat knife is really awesome for getting through your EVA foams, your light materials such as Warbler. And it works as a craft knife or a hobby knife, but hot, so it works through a lot of plastic materials or foam materials. So we'll be shaping these pieces with the heat gun. You see I'm just adjusting the curve on the crest so it fits on. We did an initial fitting to the bill as well towards the end of that, where we softened the material or the PVC to a leather-like consistency. And then once it was soft, we pressed it against the rim of the helmet. And now we're just gonna tack it down in the two sides, and we're going to fit it a little bit better now. You see it was not quite touching the surface. For the glue to work, you need to make surface contact. This is a special chemical glue for plastics called Weld-On 2007. There are other glues for the ABS and the acrylics and the T-Peg, PEG-G. A bunch of other letters of plastic. You can also find this as plastic glue or hobby glue in your local model shop, wherever you buy your little miniatures. This glue will work with a few other plastics, but I make no guarantees, and they're not as strong of a bond as they are with PVC foam sheeting. It's specifically designed for PVC foam. And I definitely wouldn't use it for acrylics. It makes it all foggy and white. Acrylics, you want to get that nice specific acrylic glue. It makes everything look so wonderful. So we have a back panel, a front panel that's simply glued on with surface contact, and we're going to heat this up. I think I said the trick here is to wait till it's a nice leathery consistency before we move on. The trick with PVC foam sheeting is to have a ventilated area and to have a mask if you need it, and then heat it up evenly. We're baking the plastic. We're not trying to burn it. Turning it brown, blemishing the surface is going to reflect badly on how it paints and how it looks, and it's not going to be good. So take your time, be patient about it, and feel out your plastic until it's nice and soft. No need to rush here. Saving time is just going to end up rushing will end up not saving any time. You'll end up with more damage and have to redo again. You waste your time. Here we have a bit of rod from a cat toy. We're going to be inserting the feather into that, and we're just hot gluing it on the back. You see there. Simple enough. There are a few details we're going to go into here that I'm going to add. these little they're like half rounds or half spheres, and they're gonna act as our rivets. They're gonna be fake rivets. If you don't have access to the internet and can't buy things off of like various suppliers, I do know that people use googly eyes, but googly eyes kind of make a sound and it drives me personally insane. I go, googly eyes, especially if it's on a helmet with like around your head. The rivets glue on just like the other plastic bits, and they're actually detailed. They're little nail art things. When my wife was super into nail art, these half circles that go on the sides, like ear protection, kind of. They're the last to go on because they have kind of the least amount of surface contact. Only the very edge of the surface circles are going to be touching. And so I want to make sure that they're bonding from PVC to PVC, or where I know that chemical glue is going to do its work and work its best. We're going to be curving them into kind of a dome shape. This is a hard shape, as I mentioned earlier, for PVC sheeting to do. I can do it with a bit of practice, a bit of work. I'm not sure if it's for everyone. It takes a bit of practice and patience, I will warn you. There is a Diablo 3 tutorial where I make a nice shoulder pauldron and I explain how to stretch and pull the plastic into a nice dome. And it does take some work and patience. Well, I keep saying that, but I know people go, oh, it's not as flexible as Whirlpool or EVA foam, I can't do it. Yeah, you can do some things, but it's just a matter of practice. So our hot knife here needs to be cleaned regularly. What happens is that the plastic that you're melting builds up on the blade, and you end up dragging it through. This causes it to not heat up as efficiently. Also, the melting plastic gives off nasty chemical badness, so you want to scrape it off. I typically use a razor to scrape it off nice and clean. It'll also it'll make your hot knife last longer if you regularly clean it and keep that off your blade. It just makes also cutting things easier when there's not crap on it. Simple enough, yeah. I think I have not mentioned it yet, but unfortunately I spray paint a lot of times in a booth or outside, or generally off camera, and it's just spray paint. It's Krylon's hammered spray paint in steel and dark steel, and that's it. That's all I did, was I hit it with some spray paint. Once it was dry, I flipped it over to the inside. It's nothing fancy. There's no washes. There's no nothing. It's a very simple paint job. Sorry if you were looking for paint tips. I just took it out and spray painted it. That was it. Once everything was glued on, I just spray painted it. And here you see a couple rivets on the front. We're going to add a few more, and they're again just these little half round spheres that you would use for nail art, and we've just got tons of them, different sizes and things like that. I've also gone to the local textile warehouse for larger, like 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch ones for gems and stuff like that. I prefer solid rivets than the googly eyes typically, but googly eyes you can pick up at Walmart. You don't need to do all this running around to various stores or buying them online, so I can definitely see the appeal there. So you can see that the glue is in a syringe dropper. You need barely any glue, which is why it's so awesome. That can cost me I think it was $15, and it can last for, even for me, someone who does this stuff constantly, it can last for a year. So I don't recommend you get that big can there at the bottom of the screen. You probably want something that's like a pint, or the little can. You want a little can that's maybe the 2.5 inch tall can for your top. I think I might have a pint. Or quart? Do I have a quart or a pint? Metric system! No! You're so confusing to Americans! But there it is. Yes, I simply sprayed it with a hammered spray paint from Krylon, and that's it. We put the feather in the back, and we're going to be making the crest next. It came with this chain. It was like this hair accessory. I just kept the chain. But they're peacock feathers. Or no, pheasant feathers. We're going to make the crest next. I hope you guys check that out. FinalCosplayCore.com. Good times to all. Roar! Over at FinalCosplayCore.com, there are hundreds of tutorials, pictures, walkthroughs, all that awesome cosplay goodness. Hope you check it out. Good times to all. Roar!